Hello teachers, I'm Mark Richard from Oxford University Press, and I will tell you what you need to know to teach Learn English with Dora the Explorer in your classrooms. Every unit of Learn English with Dora the Explorer has 8 lessons. In this video, we will look at Lesson 3. Lesson 3 is called Language Presentation and Song. Your lesson objectives are: present the new language structure. In this example unit, it is "This is my mommy," "This is my daddy," and so on. Review the unit vocabulary that children learned in lessons 1 and 2. For example, mommy, daddy, brother, sister. Practice listening skills, enjoy singing a song, and develop fine motor skills with some kind of pen to paper activity. In Learn English with Dora the Explorer, every lesson follows this simple pattern. You start with a warm-up, and that includes a hello routine for each unit. Next, you go into the student book activity, then to the activity book, and finally there's a goodbye routine to finish off the lesson with something nice and sweet. After a few lessons, both teacher and students will get into the regular rhythm of teaching Dora lessons. This will make your students feel safe. It will also make your classes quicker to prepare and easier to manage. As I've mentioned in previous videos, the Teacher's Guide will give you great warm-up suggestions. First, the Teacher's Guide lesson notes will suggest the unit Hello routine, which uses the Dora and Boots puppets and gets your students singing and dancing and moving around. Next, the lesson notes will give you a quick activity to review the unit vocabulary, usually using flashcards. After the quick warm-up comes the main section of each lesson. In Lesson 3, there is one activity in the student book. Let's take a look at this. In Lesson 3, children will listen to and sing along with a song to learn a new language structure and use the vocabulary they have learned in the previous lessons 1 and 2 of this unit. The scene from Dora the Explorer places this language in context. And as for every student book lesson, teachers can look at the bottom of the page to remind themselves of the target language structure and vocabulary. Oh, a surprise! In the background, there's a hidden word, and in the lesson you'll use this. Students will try and find it, and it reviews vocabulary from a previous unit. So let's take a look at what we can do to teach this activity effectively. So first, focus students' attention on the picture. And you can say, for example, "Look, here's Dora. Here's Dora's mommy," and describe the scene. "Oh look, Dora's mommy and daddy are sitting together on the sofa." Anything you like to expose your students to spoken English. 2. Point to the people and say the key words. So you're going to do this. Point to mommy, and the teacher says, "Mommy," and your students will repeat after you, "Mommy," as they point to the same picture in their books. "Brother," and your students repeat "brother," and so on. Step 3, say, "It's song time," and tell your students to just listen and enjoy themselves and listen for those key words, in this case, mommy, daddy, sister, brother. So now you can play the song, and it's really, really fun, and just let your students enjoy it. Let them listen and enjoy the song first, get used to the melody, to hear the words. After that, you can get students to listen and point to the key unit words. So for example, first they'll hear, "This is my mommy," and they hear mommy and they're going to point to mommy, and they'll listen to the rest of that verse. "This is my mommy. I love my mommy and me. My mommy's in my family." And they'll hear mommy a lot while pointing to it. Next verse they'll hear, "This is my daddy," and they'll point to daddy, and they'll keep doing that. So they're listening and pointing and really learning these vocab items. After that, play the track again And the children can just listen, point, and let them sing along. But at this stage, kindergarten level, your students probably aren't going to sing all of the words, but if they can just sing a few key words here and there, that's great. Now, when you've finished with the song, you can do the review word activity. So the teacher says, look at the picture again. Find the book. Now, students will look in their student books, they'll look at the picture and they'll hunt for the hidden book, which is reviewing a word from a previous unit. And when a child finds it, say, hey, well done, you found it. And then we can move on. The following teaching tip is based on breaking a song down into its three main components, which are rhythm, melody, and lyrics. And you can work on them separately, and then, if your students are ready and if you have time, build them back together so that your students sing the whole song really, really well. So let's take a look. First, rhythm. Now, students can find it difficult to sing along to songs, but they can chant them much more easily. So what you can do is get students to listen and just clap on the stressed syllables. For example, this is my mommy. And students do that and they're getting used to the rhythm of English. Then they can listen and just chant the key words. This is my mommy. So the students join in on those key words, mommy, daddy, brother, sister. Then you can look at the melody. So if you want to teach the students the melody, you can simply hum the song line by line to them. So the teacher does this, and the students listen and repeat that back. And you can do that line by line, and then you can hum the whole verse together. And humming's nice and easy, but as students hum, they will be thinking of the lyrics in their heads. So that's a great way to remember words without feeling the stress of having to say them. And finally, we have the lyrics, or the words of the song. So students can simply sing and point to key words as they see them in their student books, such as mommy and daddy and so on. Or the other thing you can do is start by singing the song very, very slowly, so students sing all the words, and gradually build the speed up. So you can do any of these things, or you can do all of them. And as I said, if you want to, you can put it all back together and students will sing a song really, really well. Now remember, this is kindergarten level, so if the students are simply listening and following the language and saying the odd word, that's still really, really good for your students' English learning. Now remember, we want you to enjoy teaching with Dora effortlessly, so we give you lots of teacher support. If you use the classroom presentation tool, you will have greater control over both visuals and audio. For example, you can play the song slowly at first to help your students get used to singing the lyrics more easily, then build up the speed to normal when they're ready. And if you have very strong students, you can play it fast. Or you can skip back 5 seconds of a touch of a button or a touch of your screen and repeat a difficult line. Okay, so we have the tools to help you get the most out of these songs. Now we've finished the student book activity. And as always, at this stage, the teacher's guide will give you an extra optional activity to practice the unit vocabulary, if you want to do that, before moving on to the activity book. So let's move on to the activity book. In lesson 3, the activity book gives further practice of the unit vocabulary. There will be a pen to paper activity, in this case, colouring the picture in, which develops children's fine motor skills, and students will practice saying the new language structure. So let's take a look in more detail at what you, the teacher, can say and do to make sure students get more practice hearing and saying the target unit vocabulary and the target structure. Many young children are shy and reluctant to speak up. However, children love pretending, so a great way to get shy students to speak is to have them pretend to be someone else. In this case, Dora. So let's see how we can do this using our Dora puppet from the Classroom Resource Pack. So first, the teacher wears the Dora puppet and points to, for example, Mommy, and says, This is my mommy. And the students repeat. This is my mommy. Step 2, for the other keywords, the teacher can point with Dora and say, this is my, and the students end the sentence with Daddy. This is my sister, and so on. Third, hand out colored pencils, and as students color in the pictures, check that they are holding their pencils properly. Step 4, you can have students volunteer to take turns to come up to the front, wear the Dora puppet, point to the picture and say, for example, this is my mommy, this is my brother, and so on. And here's an extra tip. Pair a shy child with a more confident child. The more confident child can point to a picture in their student books and say the start of a sentence. For example, this is my, and their partner, the shyer child, finishes the sentence with sister. And again, this is my brother. Sometimes children can achieve things together that they might hesitate to do by themselves. As Dora says, together we can do it. When you finish the activity book activity, remember to look in the Teacher's Guide lesson notes for the very clearly labelled optional activity which gives students more practice saying the target language. And the lesson notes also provide the unit goodbye routine for you to close out your lesson in style. So well done! We've completed lesson 3 from a unit of Learn English with Dora the Explorer. As Dora would say to encourage the students, we did it. And remember, we didn't just get through a lesson, we achieved our lesson objectives. Good job, teacher. As we've seen in this video, lesson 3 is based around a song. Singing songs, practicing simple dialogues, performing role plays, and working together on projects, which you'll see later on in the unit. These all build young learners' confidence in listening and speaking, inspiring a positive can-do attitude towards learning English. If your school wants to add more focus on building your students' English reading confidence, the Dora series has aligned phonics and literacy books to go alongside the main course book. These teach literacy and phonics by building learners' vocabulary and pronunciation and developing the reading, writing and print awareness skills needed for a seamless transition to primary school. As always, we make sure that teachers get plenty of support. Each phonics and literacy book has an access code on the inside back cover to download further online practice material, including the online Teacher's Guide for Phonics, downloadable audio including chants, PowerPoint phonics presentations, and printable student phonics flashcards. Okay, so that's all available for you. Thank you for watching this video for lesson 3 of Learn English with Dora the Explorer. Check out our videos to help you teach other lessons in a unit. Thank you for watching and enjoy your teaching.
We did it! We did it!